renovating the space and filling it with records, my oldest sister, Tansy, had come up with the idea of setting up a small coffee shop in the back corner, which had wreaked havoc on our permits. But in the end, we got it all done by working together and calling in every favor we'd ever collected. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my middle sister, Maggie, dash toward a patron who was leaning over the golden oldies section, a glob of guacamole oozing ominously from the end of their taco. She swooped in with a napkin to avert disaster with the skill of someone used to cleaning up other people's, and by other people's I mean my, messes. Out of the three of us Jessup girls, Maggie was the most fastidious. We shared a bedroom growing up. Her side was neat as a pin. Mine, well, was significantly less so. She had a lot of practice picking up after me. It felt like déjà vu, not only being home in Texas and watching Maggie in action, but also being back in this familiar record store. As the baby of the family, I'd felt the need to spread my wings farther than either of my older sisters. I'd left home soon after graduating from college, hook 'em horns, to make my own way in the world. But now, 6 years later, I was right back here in quiet Cedar River, just outside of Austin, the live music capital of the world. And, with a lot of hard work and a little luck, maybe we could make Sip and Spin the capital of vinyl records, too. My grandparents used to own a record shop in this very storefront, back in vinyl's original heyday. My mother and her brother, my Uncle Calvin, grew up in this shop. And later, after Mom met our dad not 6 feet away from where I was standing right now, my sisters and I grew up here too. By then, we sold cassette tapes and CDs too, but eventually Napster and iTunes put us out of business. Then, the miracle happened. Millennials discovered vinyl. Between a wave of nostalgia and the desire to experience music without commercials, records were back in a big, big way, and my sisters and I were poised to make the most of it. A man's booming voice cut through the happy party chatter. "Excuse me, folks, if I can have your attention, please." I made my way around the checkout counter to turn down the background music playing over the shop sound system. Conversations faded as our guests focused their attention on the makeshift stage we'd erected, where the cafe chairs and tables would go when we opened for real tomorrow. Mom's brother, Calvin Voigt, stood tall and proud as he lifted a red solo cup. It didn't have the same effect as a glass flute, but tonight wasn't about putting on airs. Tonight's grand opening was about celebrating with friends and family, which equated to beer kegs, not champagne bottles. "Thank y'all for coming out tonight," Uncle Calvin said, leaning into the microphone. Not that he needed it. He had a booming voice to match his large frame and even bigger personality. A white man in his 60s, he was wearing what I considered Texas formal attire. Dark-pressed denim blue jeans and a long-sleeved green and gray checkered shirt, fastened up to a bolo tie featuring a silver, long-horned cow skull, topped off with a lighter shade of denim jacket. His salt and pepper, more salt than pepper these days, mustache was combed to perfection, and unless I was mistaken, he'd gotten a trim for the occasion. He pushed back the brim of his cowboy hat to survey the crowd. "This here record shop will forever hold a special place in my heart. As you may or may not know, even though Thomas Edison is credited with inventing the phonograph way back in 1877, the origin of vinyl records can actually be traced to Frenchman Leon Scott in 1857. The crowd let out a collective groan, knowing that they were about to be treated to one of Calvin's long, rambling stories. We'd begged our uncle to take it down a notch just for one night, but apparently our pleas had fallen on stubborn ears. Then he turned to me and winked. "But while tonight is historic, I'm not gonna bore y'all with a history lesson. We're here tonight to celebrate the grand opening of Sip and